Well, guys, it seems the old shit squib Starmer is laying cable in his wife fronts if this little speech is anything to go by, and of course it involves reform for Raj and the so-called far right, which in reality just means everyone that ain't far left, but let's see what this tit had to say, shall we?
This is political as well. If we don't show a path to the future, others will fill that void.
Okay, it turns out I'll be translating his bullshit here, since what he really means when he says if we don't show a path to the future, others will fill that void, is that he needs to brainwash people into stupidity so common sense doesn't slap them in the face and make them realise we're all a bunch of corrupt scumbags.
In fact, they already are. A dangerous right-wing politics, even here in Scotland, that will say they are the ones who can tilt politics towards the interests of working people, even as their proposals do precisely the opposite. A politics which feeds off the failure of the free market, the failure of public services to reform, and above all, the failure to control borders properly. We have to be ready for this test conference, ready to point out that beneath their bluster, the alternative they offer is alien to working people.
Oh yeah, here we go, the dangerous right-wing politics, which of course is Reform and for Raj, that I must point out are about as far right as the fucking Teletubbies are. In fact, they're so central it's actually bloody annoying, but I guess when you're so far left, everything looks far right. Now, he does show us his pure stupidity there, or the stupidity of his speechwriters when he states that Reform will say they are the ones who can tilt politics towards the interests of working people, showing us all that he knows Labour and the Tories have not served the interests of working people in many bloody decades, while also admitting his government hasn't been serving the interests of working people the absolute brainlet. His last little bit there is just fucking laughable though, because claiming what the right want is alien to working people couldn't be further from the truth, could it? Since the working people are the right, you absolute tit, and in fact just shows how far out of touch this clown really is. Though we must always remember that when he speaks of working people, what he really means is the bloated and traitorous civil service class, that alongside politicians have destroyed this country and want everything you hate to continue. It's why I call them the parasites that be. But that old bag of bullshit he just fed us there does tell me that him and Labour are quite possibly shitting themselves about the fact that the public can't stand them, their policies, and want things back to how they used to be. Which obviously Labour can't do because they'll never see power again if it does. I mean shit, imagine if people remembered what it was like 20, 30, 40 years ago and see how it is now. Went back to that, they certainly wouldn't want to go back to this, would you?
Pandemic